Hey everybody out there, my name is Tommy. This is my channel, Counting on the Big Sleep. It is Sunday, I think the 28th. I can't remember, I work nights now. Once again, I can't remember what days it is. Today is Sunday, I believe the 28th or the 29th, December. I just got back from church. It was a good sermon. It helped me a lot today. It helped, because it talked a lot about, patience and, grace and the mercy of God and stuff, and, I needed some patience. I was just too aggravated last couple days, yesterday we had, the family, Christmas party, and I had to work that night, so I fell asleep for 2 hours. I'd wake up, and then I'd fall asleep for another couple hours, and then I had to get up and eat dinner and, be part of the party and stuff. And then when they all left, I think I had maybe an hour or two left, so I laid down again for a little bit longer. So it was like broken up sleep, and, working nights, 5:30, 9 o'clock at night till 5:30 in the morning. And I'm working with this young kid. And that's, that's where all the patient has to come in from church today, because the kid's been, just irritating the crap out of me. The kid just irritates me. He's looking for stuff to do. The way it works at where I'm working at now is, I'll take a bus. I'll drive the bus into the shop. He'll start cleaning the bus. I go out and get another bus, pull that one behind it. When he's finished with the bus, I pull that one out, stop, pull the other one in. He starts cleaning, and I take that bus and I park it and grab another bus and do the same thing. Pull behind the bus he's cleaning. He's finished cleaning, pull that out a little bit, pull the other one in, park, and then just do that all. That's what I did for the last couple nights. But it seemed like, he just wanted to do even more work. He wanted to check the oil on some of them. I'm like, dude, the oil guy, he checks them on, like Mondays and Thursdays. It's good enough. It's got plenty of oil. You don't need to check them. But he insisted on checking them, and then he couldn't even read the stick. He's like, he says, "Where's the oil? It's right here. It's above the 2 dots. It's good. It's good. Trust me, it's good." He did that a couple times. Like, all right, and then like Friday night, after he's done cleaning and I go to park the bus, I back him into the spaces. But the bus drivers don't do that. Bus drivers just pull straight in. So when, Saturday night came and I seen that, buses were missing, but certain ones were pulled in backwards the way I did it, I knew them buses were good. I know we didn't have to clean them or anything. But once again, he insisted that, hey, maybe a mechanic put that there. I said, no, I put that there, dude. I put that there yesterday. He's like, well, you should check and see how much gas is in it. Alright, turn it on, check. Full fucking tank of gas, same mileage, it hasn't gone anywhere. He's like, alright. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do. The kid's not even, I think he's maybe 21. I'm 58. And, I'm not saying that, I was better or anything like that. I'm just saying he was just irritating the fuck out of me. Like trying to push me to do more things and stuff. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do more things. What I want to do is do our job, get it done as quickly as possible, and then do nothing for the rest of the night. That's what I want to do. I want to get our job done quickly. Let's go. We got like 25 buses to clean. Let's just do it. We get done by 3:30. Hey, great. 3:30 to 4:30, 4:45. It gives us 2 hours to do nothing, really. Or to clean up the shop, But hell, man, I'm walking out of there at 5:30 and he's still doing other stupid shit. You know, I don't know what he was doing. You know, he was still doing his paperwork or something. I'm like, dude, he just irritated the fuck out of me this weekend. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's, you know, the feeling like this guy's looking over my shoulder. Like, you know, I'm the guy with the CDL. I'm the guy who's driving. You're the guy who wants to get a CDL. You know, like you're just turning 21. I don't even know if he's 21. He might be 20. I have no idea. You know, I know he can't get a CDL, or he can get a CDL, but he can't get a passenger endorsement. I have no idea. And I'm not saying the kid is stupid or anything. The kid knows a lot about the buses and stuff. Lots, you know, he's been there for a long time. You know, it just seems like he just wants more and more work to do. And I'm trying to tell him, I don't want more work to do. I just want to do our job, do it quickly as possible, and then just, you know, chill for the rest of the night. That's all. That's all I'm asking. I'm 58. Just let's fucking do the fucking job that we're supposed to do. Don't worry about all this other stuff. You know. But maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. But that's what church was about today. It was about patience. You know, maybe being a little more patient with people and stuff. So which probably is right. I probably should be. You know, I should be more patient. You know, him and there's another gentleman that works there. He's a driver like me. You know, he pulls in buses, and you know, the guy cleans them and then he parks them and stuff. You know, he's called fuelers. We're fuelers. We fuel the buses, and then there's the bus washers. You know, I do both. Part of the week I do bus washing. Another part of the week I do fueling. So, but the other guy that I work with, he's a fueler. That's all he does. That's all he does. But he's 72 years old. I'm like, fuck, dude, 72 years old. You could drop dead any minute now, and you're going to spend your golden years working, filling these buses in weather that could be like 10 below, you know? Excuse me. Oh, man. Oh, pardon me, man. Just had some Taco Bell. Where I live at now, we're in farm country. You know, there's nothing for miles and miles around, you know. You gotta drive a good 20 minutes just to do a gas station. You know, it's like, fuck. I hate living out in the rural country-ish farming type area, you know, where you have to drive a good 20, 30 minutes to get just to a fucking, you know, a gas station. I mean, you could drive probably like 10, 15 minutes to get to a real a store, a grocery store called Berknot's, which I've never heard of. I don't know, maybe you guys have heard of it. Berknot's? I have no idea. But they, you know, I went there, I did a little shopping, you know, but that was, you know, a good 15 minutes away, you know. I mean, everything is like far away, you know, not like in a town or the suburbs like where I grew up at, where I, you know, where I could take the, you know, the bus. If I wanted to take a bus, I could take a bus. If I wanted to take a train, I could take a train. You know? You know, I mean, I'm close to the city. You know, I don't want to say close, but, you know, 20, 25 minutes away. Less than that. I'm a south suburb of Chicago, I guess. I believe that's what we were called. You know, Cook County. Crook County, as we used to call it when we were kids. You know. But, yeah, that's why I'm used to that, you know. I'm used to, I don't know. It seems to me that, you know, I just don't like working with people too much. You know, but if I had to work with somebody, it would probably be a black guy. You know, I mean, he's more chill. You know, a lot of these guys, well, the black people that I've known are more chill. More chill, more, you know, cool. More chill. You know, even Hispanic guys, you know. But we're talking about, you know, this white farmer type, rural type person that lives, you know, out there in the boonies. You know, I just don't have a lot in common with that guy. I'm sorry, I don't. You know. and he jibber jabbers. You know, when we go on lunch, he'll jibber jabber about shit. I don't know. I tune it out. You know, maybe he's offering some words of wisdom. Maybe, you know, I don't know. I don't know if he is, but I don't know. He's trying to teach me. I think he's trying to teach me stuff, and I'm trying to tell him that, hey, I don't want to learn. I just want to do my basic job that I have to do that as quick as possible so we can go home. You know, or not go home, but so we don't have to do, you know, a lot more at the end of the night. Just get the fucking job done. You know? But with some of these guys, you know, they'll, you know, work for a couple hours and then, you know, they'll take like a 3-hour break, you know? And I'm like, I don't want to take a 3-hour fucking break. You know, they'll take a break before, an hour before their lunch, and then after lunch. You know, like 3 hours. Fuck that shit. Just get the fucking job done. You know, let's get it done. And if you want to take a break at the end of the night, take a break at the end of the night. But, you know, let's get the job done. But yeah, these guys, both them two, have been kind of getting on my nerves. You know, they have been. I don't mean to be like that, but, you know, that's why when church, when they were talking about patience and stuff, and you know, looking back at last year compared to, you know, where you're going this year and stuff, you know, and talking about God's grace and His mercy and His patience. He's been here through, you know, before time existed, you know, so, you know, that made me feel better, and, you know, realize that maybe I should try and be more patient with these people and not let them irritate me. You know, I need to get a place of my own too. You know, living with all these people, I don't know, it's just too many people. So sometimes I feel overstimulated. You know, I gotta hide in my room. You know, it's just too much sometimes. You know, too much. Not just with them, but people at work. You know, like all these people. Where are you coming from? Hey, back it off. Back it off. You know, give me some space. I'm used to being alone, living alone, going places alone. You know, I like being alone. You know, but that's my little rant for today so far. You know, but church was nice. But the last couple of days, because I've been angry about certain things. You know, especially people at work. I was glad. It was nice to hear him talking about patience and grace and, you know, righteousness and stuff. You know, talking about, you know, all the things that God is, sort, you know, that's good, and, you know, it's everlasting and stuff. You know, and you should learn, you know, and then you have God inside you, so you should learn some of these traits too. You know. Be gracious, be patient, you know, show mercy, of course, you know, like love your God, love your neighbor, love your enemy, open your heart, type stuff. So, I mean, the church does make me feel good. It makes me feel good. Yeah, I needed to feel good because I've been kind of crabby the last couple of days, you know, just too many people. Dealing with too many people, you know, and knowing that winter's coming here real soon, it's going to be cold, real cold. You know, it sucks, man. I don't want to see any snow. I don't want to see snow at all. You know, and I don't want to quit this job either, but I'm thinking about it too. You know, if I get enough money saved, I'll move back up here. You know, more where the city is. Guy wants $600 a month. You know, I could pay for, you know, if I can get 3 or 4 months worth of rent together. Fuck, I just give it to him. Stay there for 4 months and look for work up here. But it, you know, I don't know. They called me down there to help take care of my sister, but you know, they seem to have things covered themselves, you know. I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to read people. I can't, you know. I've been alone so long. You know, I don't know what they're thinking. you know. I think they want me to be part of the family, and I'm kind of maybe pushing away from it. 'Cause that's just the way we are. That's the way I am. You know, I mean, my cousin grew up with a mom and dad and brothers and sisters all sat at a table and ate dinner at the same time. I grew up with me and my mom, and then my other brother who was handicapped came and lived with us. And my mom was a crabby woman. Either she was either crabby or, you know, she made you feel sorry for her. She had this guilt thing that would make you feel guilt. She's either kind of crabby or made you feel guilty, you know. But there was also like this space, you know, from us. And we didn't have dinner at the same time and stuff like that. And then my other brother Wayne, he came and lived with us too. But we were always different. I mean, you know, we all helped take care of Ricky. My brother, you know, I helped take care of him many times. You know, he had a problem wetting himself and stuff and defecating on himself. I cleaned him up. You know, I've done that plenty of times. They've done it too. We've all done it. You know, but it was just different because it was just, we still had, you know, even though we were family, we had these walls between us. And I was always going outside anyway and hanging out there, you know. Except for if I had to watch Ricky and stuff, then, you know, then I would stay home. But, yeah, we wasn't like a family type structure like they had it, you know, with a mom and dad and having dinner at every certain time at night. You know, dad works certain hours every day. I was like more freedom, more, you know, just to do what I want, make my own decision. Because I was the eighth child, you know, I was the eighth, the last one. By that time, my mom was tired. It was like, fuck, man, here, sit in front of the TV. Go do what you want to do. Go to school. You want to go to school? Go to school. You don't want to go to school? I don't care. Don't go to school. Just fucking leave me alone. That was my mom. That was my mom. And I don't blame her, you know, because, you know, I was the eighth child. I knew that. You know. I mean, you know, I was like the last. By that time, you know, she was fucking beat. All the other ones beat her to death. You know, because my sister that I'm looking at now, she's good 17, 18 years older than I am. And then my youngest brother, closest to me, was good about 8 or 9 years older than I was. And he was handicapped. You know. But most of my family's dead now. They're all dead except for my sister, who's, you know, basically lost her mind. You know. That sucks. It does suck. But man, just tell me the same story over and over again. Sometimes you just gotta laugh, I guess. You know, I think we watched John Wick movies so many times. You know, I snapped the other day at her. She said, you want to watch John Wick? I said, no, I don't want to watch John Wick, man. I think I watched that like 12 times already. You know, 1, 2, and 3. I don't want to see any more John Wick. She's like, oh, okay, I was just asking. I said, you know, it's fine. Let's watch something different, man. Oh, but it's hard, you know, with all the people there. And the animals, too, and the dogs are always barking and stuff. So, it is very difficult. And it's weird because, you know, my friends were telling me, you know, that God made me go in a circle for a certain reason. And I have no idea why. You know, because I was lazy, probably. I was lazy. I should have got, you know, kept one of the jobs I had before that. That's the way I would have kept my apartment, though. I would have kept that. You know, maybe that's one of the reasons why. To show me, show me where I don't want to be. This is really, I don't want to be out in the country, in the rural area. I don't want to be out there. But my job is kind of out that way. And if I move back up this way, that's a good 40 miles one way, so that's 80 miles a day. Trusting a 2007 Dodge van. You know, I don't know how long I would trust that. Don't know. But that'd be a long drive. Right now, it's not that bad. I think it's around 15 miles, 15, 20 miles, maybe. You know, I think when I get on the road, it tells me I got about 10 miles to go, and probably around 15 miles. It doesn't take me very long, about 20, 25 minutes. But I'm down rural streets, you know, like 4,000 north, 5,000 south. I'm like, who names this shit, man? Who names it? But I get off at 5:30 in the morning. It's pitch black, and it's foggy out there too. It's like, fuck. You know, I'm just glad I made it back to the house. Then as soon as I go in the door, all the dogs start fucking barking. His wife's up feeding one of them. Every day, 6 o'clock in the morning, she's got to be feeding a dog. Like, I just don't get it, because I didn't grow up with like a lot of animals, you know. It's fucking, you know, fucking dog, man. I don't know, people feel a lot different than I do, I guess. You know, about their animals and stuff. I just never really liked, I mean, I was never really a big dog person. I liked the cat. The cat was fine. Cat would eat, cat would go do its thing, open the door, ran out the door, came back and came back. Hey, great. You made it back. Good for you, man. You know, feed a little bit, it'll want a little affection, then it'll go out and do whatever it wants to do and leave you alone. You know? Like, geez. But with a dog's like every fucking minute it's coming in there. You know, I leave my door open because I don't want to feel isolated in the house. So I leave the door open so the dog will come and go. Now, if I'm in there just looking at the computer and stuff, you know, just trying for a little peace and quiet, but so the dog will come in there and I'll pet it for a little while, and then it'll walk away, and then it'll come back in, and I'll do this for a while. I'm just used to living alone. That's, you know. I mean, I wouldn't even mind if my son was living with me, you know, because he'd be in his own room or in the living room. You know, he doesn't bother me. You know, he's doing his fucking thing. But, you know, but I don't know why God would make me want to go in a circle like this. Unless it was to show me what I didn't really want. And it is, you know, I really didn't want to be living in the country. You know, away from everything. But because of my laziness, you could say, and the fact that I went through 3 jobs all last summer, and I kept on working a little bit and then quitting, and working a little bit and quitting. You know, feeling depressed and stuff. You know, I mean, if that's what, you know, God wanted to show me, maybe, you know, that, hey, you know, yeah, here, you're back at square one, working at a job you could have been working at for a long time, even though I don't really like the job that much. You know, I don't like, you know, people, really. But, other than that, church was good. Sounds like I'm bitching and complaining, and I am, probably. But church was nice. It was, the best part of church is really in the morning, you know, when, you know, they raise everybody up and just tells everyone to greet each other and stuff. I like doing that. I'll shake hands with people and stuff, say, you go, good morning and stuff. You know, that made me feel better, you know, too. That made me feel better. You know, get some of that anger out, you know, in the last couple of days. It's been building up. But, yeah, it was a good church, good sermon. He talked a lot. I don't know. Sometimes I listen to something catches my ear and other things not. He was talking about Timothy's something, page 260 something. I couldn't find the page numbers on, and you know, in the Bible, I couldn't find any page numbers. So I was like, I don't know. You know, I just listen to what he says. You know, and the people, you know, when I first got there, one guy greeted me. His name was Larry. he always, every time he sees me, he's always greeted me, you know. Because when I first met the guy, he's like, "Oh, you look familiar. I grew up in this. Well, I've been in this town for a long time. I've probably seen you at, this grocery store or something like that." But he's always greeted me. He's always a nice guy, you know. So I like going to that church. They're nice people. They have different pastors too sometimes. Special guests, I guess. And I've been doing this for ever since I made that promise to God that if He gave me the job at River Valley Metro, that I would go to church twice a month. And He gave me the job at River Valley Metro in Bourbonnais, and that was like over a year ago. And I quit within 2 weeks, and then I just started going to church after that, and going through different jobs, only to wind up back in Mantino, right by Bourbonnais, where River Valley Metro is, and I had kept in touch with him because I apologized to him a couple months earlier about leaving. I'm, sorry about that. I shouldn't have left. And then when I was out there helping, trying to take care of my sister, but really just getting in the way of things. I mean, that's what I was doing, just getting in the way. Because they have their own set of way of doing things. And getting a job back at River Valley Metro. Which, I left there, not because it was a bad job, but because it was so far from where I really wanted to be. I want to be out in this area, this suburbanite, where I could go in any direction, 5 minutes in any direction, and go to a Dunkin' Donuts. I can go to McDonald's over here, or, Taco Bell. Where I'm, close to everything. That's why you never see homeless people living out in the country, because all the resources are in town. In the town, or, close to the city. Not out in that where all the cornfields are. I don't want to be out there. I'd rather be up here where there's more people. Even though I don't like people, but at least I can see them from a distance and they don't bother me. I don't know. Maybe I'm just nuts. Maybe that's it. But it is Sunday the 28th, I believe, or the 29th. I don't know. I can't remember. December. And it's a rainy day out here. Just wanted to show you guys. Show you the rain. Hope you can see that clearly. I can zoom it in. So it's a beautiful day, actually. It's not cold. It's not that cold out. Where do I go? Back down to 5. Yeah, I guess so. And then we switch it back. Hope that looks about the same. But that's where I'm at the woods today after church, like always. Like I always do. I always do. Which is nice. I like going to the church. And I like to be able to come to the woods here and just relax a little bit. I just wish I could work out here too. But I also feel guilty, if I quit this job, if this guy rehired me. If I could find like a middle ground. Beecher would be nice. A middle ground. Somewhere in the middle between, your rural area with all your cornfields and the town, If there was like maybe 10 miles each way would be great. But, like I said, from here, where I'm at, where I want to be, it's a good 40-minute drive, 45-minute drive, 45 minutes to an hour drive. It's about 40 or 50 miles, I think, around there. So, but I'll spend as much time as I can out here. I'm going to go see my son here in a little bit. And I'll spend a little time with him. Clean out my car. And that's how I spend my Sunday off. Church, woods, and I'm not looking forward to winter. I do not want to be driving in the snow. I don't. And this video has gone on long enough. Alright? You guys heard me rant long enough. Hey everybody, just want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you're into. Have a great new year. Always look forward. Forget about looking backwards, alright? You guys have a good night. Later.